Hey Evolve, this is Charlie. I'm going to be doing the Bermuda Triangle for my inquiry project. I hope that you enjoy. Meet Sally. She is a victim of the Bermuda Triangle. This is her story.
Hi, I'm Sally. You may wonder, what is the Bermuda Triangle? Well, it actually is in the shape of a triangle in the middle of the Atlantic. It goes from Florida, Bermuda and Puerto Rico, forming its triangular shape. This is what the Bermuda Triangle looks like. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the most dangerous places in the world. There have been many disappearances. Well, enough with the jibber-jabber, let's get on to the good stuff. I am an Army pilot, so I'm in the air all of the time. On my most recent journey, I was sent to fly to Miami from my base in Bermuda. At first I was skeptical because I've heard all of the stories about the Bermuda Triangle, but then I realized that I'm one of the best pilots, and I can handle anything. I got in my plane and started going. It was the craziest moment of my life. I was flying over the Bermuda Triangle. That's when my compass arrow started going crazy. This brings us to the compass theory.
Some people might say that the compass theory has no known explanation. Well, there's something called magnetic fog that not a lot of people know about. That sticks to the side of the plane, and the magnetism on it makes the compass go all berserk, pointing it in different directions.
Shoo shoo. Get off. This is my story. Then I started seeing large flashes of light, way too big to be lightning, and no electricity can be that bright and be in the middle of the ocean. Got you there, Charlie.
I guess you did. There really isn't any known explanation for the large flashes of light, ever since Christopher Columbus said he experienced it on his voyage in 1492.
Woohoo. Well, the craziest thing comes next. You aren't going to believe me when I say this, but the next thing that happened is that I time traveled. I was flying just like any other flight, and I started seeing big dark clouds, but they weren't storm clouds. I had no choice but to go through them. I was in there for a while, then I finally came out of the blackness. I saw another one up ahead. I started through it, but when I went in, I could see no end. I saw some more flashes of light, even brighter than the ones I saw earlier. As I kept flying, the cloud turned into a cylindrical tunnel, and then I saw light. I started flying, but the walls were closing in on me. I went faster, the exit was about to close, but I swept through it. My instruments were going all insane, and I connected to ground control immediately. I asked them to give me a location, but I just heard a gasp on the other line. They said I wasn't on the radar at all, and I was flying over the Miami airspace. I was shocked. A flight that was supposed to take an hour and a half, only took 47 minutes. Explain that, Charlie.
Sure thing, Sally. There's something called dark energy. It's made out of the same thing that black holes are made out of, and it could have transferred you into Miami airspace. You were actually very lucky to get out of there alive, because most people would get swallowed into it. Another thing that could have happened was that there was a lot of solar wind that day, and it was going very, very fast, that it just pushed you into Miami airspace. And the cloud that was around you that made a cylindrical shape, that was just magnetic fog that I was talking about earlier, sticking to the side of your plane, making all of your instruments go all berserk.
Well, anyway. That's all for my story. Now onto my pal, Christopher Columbus.
Hi. I'm modern-day Christopher Columbus. You must be thinking, what the heck is a modern-day Christopher Columbus doing on some kid's Bermuda Triangle project? Well, I'm here to answer that question. On my voyage in 1492 when I sailed the ocean blue, I experienced the Bermuda Triangle. It was crazy. I was sailing like no other sail, we saw the new lands. And then it happened. That's a story for another time though. Get ready for my awesome, amazing, better than anyone's story Bermuda Triangle experience. I was on a magnificent journey to the new lands. The water was clear and nice, and there was nothing stopping me from getting there. So I thought. And then I saw it. The flashes with no explanation. They lit up the sky. Now, Being a modern Christopher Columbus, I now know this was the doing of the Bermuda Triangle. I was astonished. Of course there was no electricity in that time, so that made no sense. And I've seen lightning. And this wasn't it. I'm having a very similar situation to my good friend Sally. So you must now be thinking, I've heard this and I'm bored. Well, so am I, kids. But, I thought you might like to know that me, Christopher Columbus, co-founder of the New Lands, witnessed the happenings of the Bermuda Triangle. Oh, and fun fact, over 200 planes have disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, and 2,000 ships too. One of the stories is crazy. There was a flight with some new trainees and an advanced PLA who was helping them. He drinks a lot, so this could be an explanation to what happens next. The planes were on the radar, and then poof, they weren't. They just disappeared. No survivors, and no known answer. Although, the head guy who drinks could have gotten drunk from the day before, and got them lost, or just lost fuel and sunk. Well anyway, without further ado, please welcome my friend, What's His Face.
Hi, I'm What's His Face. My actual name is Ryan. I was also a victim of the Bermuda Triangle. This time, in a pretty creepy way. It involves a ghost ship and people disappearing out of nowhere with no explanation. So, ready to hear it? Cool, let's get started then. It was a normal sail, my crew were being dingbats and I had time for nothing. Normal day for me. Then we saw a shadow. My dingbat crew were afraid, but I knew that there was no such thing as sea monsters, or ghost pirates or ships. But then we saw it. It scared the living daylights out of us. It was a ghost ship. Just sitting there. As creepy as it was suspicious as well. I sent half of my crew to go and investigate. They were really spooked out, but they went anyway. I was waiting for them to come back, but they never did. My crew was freaking out, but I was just confused. We had to keep going, and so we did. About a day later, we saw it again. It was looking really freaky this time, and I sent the other half of my crew to go on it again, and look for the first half. I was waiting for a while. But they never returned. Finally I went on it and no one was there. Zip. I ran to my boat and hopped on it. I sped home. Faster than I ever had before. I told people about it, but they said I was just crazy. To this day, I still think I might be, but you never know. Well, that's all for my story. I hope that this entire presentation all gave you the same lesson. Don't go in the Bermuda Triangle.
Please note that these people were made up. The stories are completely true, but the people, their looks, their names, or everything are all made up. I hope that you enjoyed my Bermuda Triangle presentation, and thank you for watching.